Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of UHS Presents. I am joined again, as per the usual, by my lovely co-host, Lori. Hello, Lori.
Hey.
Lori's broadcasting from an undisclosed cave somewhere, from some very huge nerd. That's all I can really tell. Whoever this, it's a very huge nerd.
With Jabba.
Yes, Jabba's a co-host.
Yes.
So, well, already we've got Cyan saying hello. So, thanks for joining us. Today, we are talking about Miss Medusa. We're going to do a little sneaky peeky. And I have many things to show off that we're allowed to show off so far. I've got approval to show it off. But first, do we have any news that we need to relay to everybody?
Not a ton. The Art of Ian Richardson is at the printers now, so that's getting ready. I just have a few orders left of the Surgeon to ship out that have original art in them. And that's pretty much it. We're launching the Kickstarter for Miss Medusa's Monstrous Menagerie next Tuesday, so I'm very excited about that. That's just been a lot of prep work for that.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that since
forever.
Yeah, like it's been a while. I'm pretty excited that it's finally happening. So let's just go ahead and get our guests on, right? So this is going to be kind of awkward for everybody because Paul is here, but we had to kind of rig it up a little funky so he can hear us and he can see, but you're not going to be able to tell that he's here, so it's going to be very sneaky. So don't talk any shit about him because he can hear us, okay? So, hi, Paul. Are you here with us? All right, Paul's here. Yeah. And then we've got also, of course, we've got the artist behind many of the characters, and I guess like kind of co-creator. Like, yeah, he's you two worked on this together, right? Yeah. So we've got it here. We've got Malicious Matt Frank. So,
hey, what's up? I totally wasn't making my characters make out. What are you talking about? Leave me alone. This is slanderous. Hi.
We still call it this land.
I actually have to double check because those toys are very expensive. Yep, they're good. Yep, they're good. Okay.
Godzilla is very durable.
To do anything about it now.
They're Bandai vinyl figures. They can take a beating. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Yeah. We've got, along with Astayan, we've got Mike Dolan with us here. So it says new background, inconceivable. I don't know. Sometimes
for me, no, I'm in an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
This is not my house. I wish it was.
Paul Henson is here. Hey, Paul. Paul H is here too. Mike said the greatest nemesis of UHS, Paul's janky internet service.
Yeah.
True.
I was just saying we have to get him Starlink whenever it's available.
Yes, we just need to loan him a cup of internet when he does these streams with us.
Yes.
Well, at least we got him. So
yes.
So hey, let's just talk about Miss Medusa. How excited are you two that it's finally coming out here, getting done?
It's been a long time.
4 years.
4 years? Was it that long? Yeah, it was. God, I think we originally started talking about it back during Alamo City Comic Con in 2017, something like that.
I think that's right, and I think you. She said Matt had the initial idea for the created Medusa, and they concept was there, and he was talking about it like that whole weekend, and I would just interject like, oh hey, you know what, you do this, and what about this, and like we kept throwing ideas around, and basically I would not leave him alone. I kept pestering him with my ideas for it, and eventually he gave up and said, you know what, you should write it.
That's pretty accurate, I would say.
Somewhere around the point where I was buying books on carnies from like the 1960s to research it, he was like, yeah, actually, you should write it.
I mean, Paul was already kind of taking the reins and running with it because it just, he was so enchanted with the idea and just was already so excited about it that I couldn't physically stop him at a certain point, which is great. It was one of the things that led it to being a, it was one of those situations where I knew that I, especially at the time, did not have the time to fully develop an original series by myself. I'm hopefully in the not too distant future going to be getting the reins on my damn schedule so that I can do things like pursue original projects. But definitely at the time, I think when I write stuff, I tend to lean more towards broad thematic elements or little vignettes or, something relatively simple, just so I can get a broader point across. Whereas with Paul was like, no. You gotta get like the vernacular down. You've got to get, there has to be, he started diving into these details, and they were details that I started thinking about, and I was just like, oh God, I don't know if I can do how is brain. And so, Paul's the one that I was just like, you're already writing codexes and backup stories about Belinda the Wasp of Sussex, so you should just write this whole thing.
Yeah, I try to kind of explain to people, like, when they ask about this, they've asked about this and you guys aren't around, and I can't really explain the extent of what Paul does for like planning and research and everything. I'm like, I can't explain it to you. I'm just like,
I mean, it definitely sometimes I do feel like the blunt force object, the goon in the room, because I sort of get pointed at stuff, and Paul says, okay, we need this now. Cause, oh man, I was thinking about a good example of like, Fox creating Family Guy, then it gets passed off to Adult Swim, and then Fox is like, no, wait, I want it back now. Can I please start taking credit for it again? But that's not quite the relationship, because I mean, we really tried to co-parent this thing as much as possible, but I guess I'm more of the parent who gets occasional weekend visitation as opposed to and it really just
we talk about pretty much everything, and
oh yeah.
The broad strokes of every story, we talk out, and then I go on right, script.
Oh yeah, like Paul doesn't necessarily just do stuff without telling me. He does run a lot by me, and I'm just so in love with just about everything he does. I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I want to read this now. Boy, I sure hope somebody makes it. So. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I'm really grateful to finally have like the light at the end of the tunnel for at least issue 1. Yeah, and it's very like as the final pages are coming in, because Paul is also doing final colors and doing some touch-ups and things like that. As those final pages come in, I'm just like, man, this might be the best looking book I've ever worked on. Because so many of the comics I've worked on have been, licensed books that are on the super tight crunch deadlines. Not to say that we haven't had a tight deadline, but it's just not, you don't get that same level of like, no, we got to make this look as good as possible. that had originally gotten beaten out of me on the first issue of Godzilla Rulers of Earth when I gave a 3-page list of notes to our colorist for issue 1, and she quit after issue 2. So, so I was like, oh, okay, I can't get pedantic about details. Boy, howdy, is that not the case with Medusa? We get all up in them guts.
Good enough is not good enough. That's the motto.
Right. It's funny though, despite that, and this was something you guys had apparently encountered before, but I saw for the first time on Matt's wall, there are people who complain about certain creatures not being the way they want them to be. Is that...
Oh, Christ.
That they're not exactly accurate to the way that they were in real life?
You guys should elaborate.
Yeah.
Must we?
And don't worry about my weird facial expressions. I am trying to troubleshoot Paul's echo right now, so I can't make this not happen. So like if you see a weird face happen, it's not you guys, it's me. It's me looking at something completely unrelated.
It's like when you draw a character, you're drawing a facial expression, you're doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I can do something about the echo. Hang on. Yeah, keep talking.
Okay.
Okay. Let's not sit here and wait for Paul to fix things.
So, I mean,
well, probably is because of the setup I had to do here. Let me see if I can get headphones to plug into my phone.
Ooh,
okay,
yeah.
that could work.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, fingers crossed.
You guys should have heard Paul earlier though. Like he was like
it was
omnipotent.
infinite echo.
Echo was
yeah.
so bad. It was amazing.
Yeah, it really had that like
Paul L.
We are legion for we are the one of the many or whatever the quote is. But yeah,
this is how he researches Miss Medusa. There's actually 100 Pauls and they're all being researched.
He doesn't just have insomnia.
No.
I for one appreciate the over preparation because it means as from the graphic designer standpoint, like I don't have to harass anybody for art and stuff. I just be like, okay, I have like 800 million things I can choose from in this folder here. So I love it. I love that he over prepares.
Yeah, it really is one of those things that I wish that I could have. Just the way things shook out, I only had so much time to dedicate to it, and it was really a godsend that Paul was able to pick up a lot of the slack. But for future issues, my schedule is going to be way less all of this. So that's the plan anyway. But with regards to the mythological creatures that we dove into, I mean, Paul was digging up stuff that like I had never even heard of. And I was, of course, sometimes throwing stuff at Paul where I was like, oh, we should have this and we should have this. But for the most part, yeah, the thing about these mythological creatures or cryptids or whatevers, here's the big thing. They're not real.
Right.
9 times out of 10. I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes from what is it called? Last Podcast on the Left, which is the cryptid hotline, which is press 1 if you've seen a dog with mange. Press 2 if you've seen a shadow in a lake. Press 3, is it a rock? Check again. So it's just one of those things where it's like, we did the legwork, which is to say, Paul did the legwork, and there are just certain creatures that they have conflicting descriptions depending on who you ask. I mean, there's about 100 lake monsters out there that all have completely different descriptions depending on who you ask. I'm going to blow some people's minds here. The Loch Ness monster was not described as a long-necked plesiosaur or brontosaur or any sort of thing like that until King Kong came out. And the guy who described it as a long-necked reptile had just seen King Kong. And at the time, people couldn't conceptualize a living, breathing, prehistoric monster until they saw something like in a movie. So, it's just, I don't know. So we did our best Paul did his best to, no, I'm actually going to give myself a little bit of credit here because I did go back and forth with Paul a lot on the creature design specifics. And Paul did a really good job of grabbing some of sometimes I'd fall back on certain things because I'd be like, well, what if it looked like this? And he's like, so what if it looked like a kaiju? What if it looked like a guy in a suit? And I'm like, yeah, but what if? And he's like, let's try this. So yeah, we did a ton of research and tried to make it so you would look at it, and if you knew anything about this cryptozoological or mythological creature, you would say, oh, that's blank, but just a slightly different interpretation.
Right. Right. And I'm like, culturally too, there are different interpretations of everything. Like, yeah. So I thought it was funny. You know, you posted a teaser with some creatures, and there was immediately a guy, and he was like, I don't know if that's not right. And I was just like, really? Like that? Okay.
Well, I mean, and he's talking about a creature that, to the best of my knowledge, it's the Groot slang, and it's a creature that, to the best of my knowledge, is a little bit of a shapeshifter. And it just depends on who you ask. It seems like there are a lot of conflicting opinions. Exactly. So there's it's a snake elephant, which really is just a brontosaurus, which, before anybody crawls up my ass about that, yes, brontosaurus is back. It's not just a patasaurus now. There's a patasaurus and brontosaurus. They're two different species. So climb all the way out of my ass for that. I know more than you do. So anyway,
we know a lot. We've been researching a lot. What did you say?
We have comments coming in, so whenever there's a lull here.
Okay, I can stop for a second.
Caston chipped in about how insane the amount of work is. So I bet, yeah. I mean, she would know. Then we had some talk of the echo here. Dead Tom says, love the wall of Godzilla.
I have them.
That is a hell of a wall of Godzilla. That is
Thank you.
It's unbelievable.
Major wall. Yeah.
I've been trying to leave. I'm kind of in the mood. I'm in the middle of packing everything up to move, and all of this is the last thing I've left because I want to make sure I still have background stuff.
Oh my gosh. This is going to take you as long to pack up as the rest of the house total took to pack up. It's
Possibly.
Take a while.
I don't know. I might just put my arm and just go, all right, got it.
I mean, that works too, I guess.
There's only certain ones I can do that with. Like these guys at the top row, those are all just soft vinyl kids' toys. They can take a lot of punishment. So, but then there are guys like, hold on, I can't, wait, like this shelf over here. Those guys I can't do that with. Those guys I can't do that. It's gonna take a while. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Paul Henson said, hey, Sarah, I watched Hocus Pocus for tonight. Glad we aren't discussing that. Hocus Pocus was last week.
Oh, last week, Paul.
Yeah, we did Hocus Pocus last week. I'm sorry. But it's a good movie, so you should watch it anyway. Like, I feel like you didn't waste your time because it's a good movie.
A lot of virgin shaming for super underage cast. Not really sure what that's about, but anyway.
Yeah. We did discuss that too, and we both agreed that Max, the one who gets shamed, actually is like, guys, what the hell is the big damn deal? Of course I'm a virgin. And,
yeah, I'm 12.
It's like the oldest one was, I think, 15 or maybe 16. It's like, yeah, it's not weird for you to be a virgin as a teenager, okay?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's silly. And then Dead Tom, what about Man Bear Pig? What about Man Bear Pig?
What indeed? I'm sure we've got some shit in the book that's like Man Bear Pig. I mean, we've got all these. There are so many weirdo giants out in various folklores that are just bizarre. So we have a pig giant man. I think that's
Jimmy Squarefoot.
Jimmy Squarefoot. Thank you. You're keeping all the names straight.
How's that sound, by the way?
Yeah, everybody watching, do you still have an echo? Because I do not have an echo.
I have an echo for some reason, but yeah.
Well, I think that you don't. I don't have an echo because I'm the one piping his sound in. So
Yeah, I mean, I've just got my headphones on, so.
Bummer. Yep, everybody's like, yep, still there an echo. There's still an echo. Oh,
well.
I quit.
It's right. Like we tried to do this so he wouldn't be all laggy and crappy internet.
Well, we're gonna figure this out. This is one of those like it's gonna piss me off until I fix it. So
I am so fucking pissed off. I can't tell you.
Like Paul just wants to talk about his fucking book.
Yeah.
With his co-creator. Like, come on.
we just have to get you like a couple of gigs of data.
I don't know why the hell it's that way. I'm on. There shouldn't be any feedback from my end.
No, it's got to be something with my setup. We'll figure it out. Oh, it's Caston says only Paul has the echo.
Yeah.
All the rest of us are fine.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. I will try to figure it out before launch.
The problem is that Sarah tested this with Paul, but only Paul. So Sarah did not hear the echo.
Yeah, I was like, I knew that there was a chance that something was going to go wrong, but and I assumed that something was going to go wrong because of course something is going to go wrong.
I mean, we have another stream planned next week, right before the launch.
Yeah, the actual launch stream.
Yeah, the stream.
So we have a good week to try and figure this out. Mike Dolan says he's like the disembodied voice of deep thought.
I'm
gonna
just
have
gonna
to
be quiet.
But you don't have to be quiet the whole time.
I'll interject when I'm needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that'll have to work.
We'll figure it out, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the comments seems to really be bugging people, so I don't want to wreck the live stream.
Okay.
Enough. Well, we do have some art from Miss Medusa to look at. So whenever y'all want to jump into that, you just holler.
I mean, we can go ahead and do that now. I mean,
I am going to put up a ticker here. I want y'all to go and look and follow the Kickstarter pre-launch there. It's the ticker at the bottom that I just popped under Malicious Matt there.
Yeah, I wanted to mention actually, we're offering a few pieces of original art, and we're also offering sketch covers from Matt and Paul, and I believe there's only 5 slots of each. So I strongly suggest you follow the pre-launch because it will email you as soon as we go live, and you're going to want to, if you want original art, you're going to want to be there clicking because it's going to probably sell out very quickly. Because Matt has been very generous to give us these slots that he doesn't have time to do.
I mean, they'll happen. I don't know when, but they'll happen.
It's never a matter of if, it's always a matter of when.
Yes.
I also wanted to mention, and I haven't mentioned this anywhere yet, so I'm kind of really excited to talk about it. I don't think I've mentioned it anywhere yet anyway. Don't get mad at me if I have. I don't think I have. Anyway, we are offering a life-size Medusa cardboard standee on this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So excited.
I'm so fucking excited about this. Like that we found a place that would do this, and Paul's actually offering the original art that he did for that. But yeah, it's designed by Paul. She's super fucking awesome. She's 6'6" She's 6'6" basically tall. I think she's actually supposed to be more like 8 feet with the hat. But we decided that, people's houses might not be tall enough. So we went with a more realistic height.
I mean, I'm super excited about that because I would see you guys talking about that in our work chat. And I kept thinking like, cut out. Standee, what? Okay, whatever. I'll look at that later. And then eventually it started sinking in like, oh, they're serious. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, we've been talking about that for kind of a while now. Oh, it started out with like the things that you poke your head through, but those are kind of shitty and hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And then it morphed into something way cooler. And look at this. And it was like strictly for like me to take along to conventions. It wasn't going to be a reward, but now like this is way better.
I just
there's several people that are like, yes, definitely need that.
I kind of need it too. I might just get one for myself,
Yeah.
But
if I don't get like I was like we were talking about it, I was like, I need one of those. I will take it to school with me and like we can pose and shit. Like I am going. This thing is coming with me to every single convention. So it's
supposedly
happening.
she'll be like retractable, so like you don't have to like strap her to the roof of your car to get her to fit. Like she'll be
because I have I have a Mazda, so yeah, when I go to conventions, this could be a problem.
Amazing.
But I mean, if I put her in the front seat though, then maybe I can get carpooling.
That's true.
I do think that would be a fun opportunity to kind of talk about the origin of the character specifically. I don't know if you said you could possibly put art up.
Yes, I have Miss Medusa's character card here.
Go ahead and put that up.
Get some starters going here. How's that?
Okay, that's great. So yeah, because that's the art that I did, and I think Paul colored that. And yep, there it is. So originally I had designed her kind of on a whim for a convention called SoonerCon in Oklahoma City. And it's a really nice little convention. They're all very sweet. It's a really tight-knit little community. Made a lot of friends there. Shout out my buddy Jocelyn for who helped me at my table a bunch there. And I created this character just as part of their poster for the event. And because it was sort of a spooky carnival of monsters kind of theme. And I struggled a while for how to come up with like a ringmaster character. And it just hit me like, oh man, like a Gorgon, but like as a ringmaster would be really fun as sort of a carnival of monsters thing. Because I also had a little bit of that Zatanna vibe thrown in. And the people at SoonerCon were kind enough to give us permission. Basically, they said, yeah, make a comic, just give us shout outs and stuff. And that's why we set the first arc in the Oklahoma City area. We try to give as many shout outs and little nods to Oklahoma City and SoonerCon in general as we could. But she really hasn't changed much from the initial design. I think her hat was different and her cane was different. Paul should have a mug with the original design on it.
I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You send me a picture. Is it okay to put it up on the stream? If you can get me a picture of it, I can.
Maybe I have it on my phone somewhere.
Did Paul just talk and there wasn't an echo, or am I crazy?
Paul, say things.
What's up?
Yeah, still an echo.
It's still there.
Okay, I've got the original
art when he talks more. Okay, sorry.
I've got the original artwork here. I will just send it to you right now.
Super.
And yeah, so it was and that was what kind of kicked off the discussion that Paul and I started having about doing doing an original comic, mostly because I was just kicking around and I was just kicking around ideas, and I don't remember exactly what happened. I think maybe I showed him the artwork or something, and he said that would make a really good comic, or somebody said that. Somebody said like that would make a great comic. So I'm just really pleased with her design. It's one of my favorite characters I've ever designed. I think the only major difference with the new design is her hat is not made out of like stitched together snake skin. Because that felt like it was a cleaner, having it be the traditional black top hat, that felt like it contrasted better with her core design.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to just more snake skin. And she had a rattle tail originally too. But that was the Medusa from Clash of the Titans has a rattlesnake tail. And for some reason, I guess that wasn't something else that Paul and I must have discussed at some point. We had so many goddamn meetings about these character designs. But yeah, I'm
I
really
also have the covers that she was on too. Shall we flip through those?
yeah.
Because I fucking love this one.
That one, I'm really proud of that one. Lori found this old school carnival poster, and
it was actually a magic poster.
it was like a and it did he have a stack of, no, he did not have a deck of cards. Did he have a deck of cards?
I don't think so. He had something else.
We had little performers like in his hands.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where the card trick thing came from, but it again, that was something else that just hit me like a freight train, where I'm like, oh, deck of cards, it has all the characters' faces on them. Because Gina really is kind of a master manipulator in a lot of ways. She's a devout capitalist. And, you know, she's sort of really one of those protagonist, antagonist. Like, she's kind of her own worst enemy as well as everybody else's. But she's not like a bad person, even though she kind of is.
Yeah, I'm a little talk a bit here. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
I should warn people as we walk into this series. People like responded very positively to her. It's like you're gonna want to get to know her.
Yeah,
she's. I'm not saying she's Walter White or Tony Soprano, but she is a character with flaws.
Yes, I think that's a really good way to put it. And I always, because when I did originally conceptualize her as very devil may care, very opportunistic, the first line I ever thought of her saying was "the show must go on," in a very like.
Yeah.
My original concept for the series was, this was a show that is almost nightly. There's some disaster going on behind the scenes. Something they are putting on a show in spite of the show itself being kind of a disaster, because they're just trying to keep things from completely falling apart. It's almost the Men in Black paradox of like, there's always a Carillion death ray or an intergalactic plague about to wipe out all life on this planet, and the only way these people get along with their happy little lives is they don't know about it. Because I mean,
or it's a little bit like the Muppet Show.
Excellent comparison.
Yeah.
Excellent comparison. Because
Maurice's scooter.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, I think. Is it just and this cover? Joanna Lafuente did the colors on this. I did some light touch-ups, but she really got this retro vibe without going too hard into like the frayed edges or the EC comic style.
Yeah. I really love it.
Yeah. And like I said, I just went through and I did some light touch-ups just to get a couple things to pop. But I mean, and she nailed it on the cards. And now we're of course thinking like, well, how can we get like a deck of cards?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking, because this is actually something you can get made, is a custom deck of trick cards, like meant for magicians. Like they're actually like, there's stuff on the cards to help you do card tricks. Like it's not actually a legit card deck or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty fun, because it has kind of that air of scamming.
Yeah. I mean, somebody, I don't remember if it was Paul or Lori, somebody mentioned that is it the red diamonds or black diamonds or something, that are black diamonds that aren't in a normal deck or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Apologies. I keep having to say like, I think this happened and I think this happened, because a lot's happened in the last 4 years.
It's been a lot.
It's a lot.
A lot's happened in the last month of work on Miss Medusa,
like,
I would say.
The last week.
It's been a long year today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited about those. Just in general, this whole thing is it's finally coming together. And it's so funny because, we talk about doing all this prep work and like, man, I'm really glad we had all this prep work and all this stuff locked and loaded and ready to go. And of course, when we're in the middle of stuff, we're like, I think we need more prep work because we're just like,
That's how it always goes, though. I mean, like, you expect that stuff at this point. You just gotta.
It's funny how we've been designing this for 4 years, and like page I'm coloring right now, there are multiple creatures that Matt designed on that page.
Yeah, I had to design them on the fly and just be like, I guess this is what this will look like, and
this is what a thing looks like. Here we go.
Here, there's a griffin. Yep, that's what that is.
Yep.
I have that piece of original piece that you sent over here, so we can have a look at that now.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yay! This was, like I said, this was the piece I did for SoonerCon. They specifically, originally they wanted like Godzilla and a few other characters in there, and I thought, let's do some original stuff. Let's do a big catfish monster and a giant kind of dragonfly thing. And the
Marshmallow Man.
They demanded the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, though. They said we can't not have him in there. So I'm like, all right. And there is Gina, Miss Medusa herself, and if I remember correctly, the colorist on this one, I didn't color this. It was sort of a similar situation to the other cover where another colorist came in and did a pass, and then I went in and kind of did some touch-ups. But I mean, this really decided like that was Gina. And
yeah.
I just, looking back at it, I'm just thinking like, man, this really came out nice. This is a nice piece of art.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the original. And hopefully maybe some BCs like that, maybe we'll actually get to something like that one day. Because at the moment, it's not really a kaiju book. Because everybody always asks me like, oh, you making an original kaiju comic or something? And I'm like, yes, but this is not that.
There are many, because I'm working with Matt Frank. I'm gonna write some big monsters in. There are big monsters, but they're only one piece of the puzzle. They're not the focus.
Right. That's
like to compare it to the Muppet Show. We have the big Muppets. We have Sweetums.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain creatures that are just, if you're a monster fan, if you're a monster kid, you'll like this comic.
Yeah.
Well, not if you're a kid.
Yeah.
If you're a kid, you probably shouldn't be reading it. But
no,
it's not for kids.
it's a
and
suggestion.
our comic has two C's because we're doing the sideshow editions, and so the sideshow edition is promoted as the uncensored version, but it should be said like the book has it's adult and more adult.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of F-bombs, a lot of adult situations. We get a little blue with the language sometimes because, well, I mean, it's a bunch of roustabouts and, carnival barkers in the 60s. They're, not exactly pulling their punches, especially because this is a, let's say, tumultuous time in the history of our nation. And just a little bit. And you think things are rough now. Let's just say, I believe there are some visual references to the time and place this takes place in the first issue where you're like, oh, it's going to be that kind of book. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's not like the book is like purposely political or anything, but it would just be weird if we ignored those things in the time we're dealing in. Like, we didn't really go out of our way to like set this in the southern U.S. in the 1960s. It just worked out that way. But there are realities you can't ignore being there.
Yeah. Right. I think I think the best way to describe it is we took a bunch of mythological creatures and characters and dropped them in to America in the 60s and aren't really glossing over any of those other details. Like, it's just, so you have a bunch of multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-species creatures all being thrown into this situation together. Things are going to get a little tense. But again, like Paul said, we're not, we would be dishonest to shy away from that stuff.
And really the motivation for putting it in the 60s initially was, we wanted a circus that was big and was doing enough business that it could be a big circus/carnival, but be a little bit failing, being on the edge. And the 60s is where the big circuses are going out of style. They're dying today. We're past the golden age. This is the point where Ringling Brothers didn't do big talk shows anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul just really did the legwork on the history of circuses, and to the point where, for a little while before the pandemic, I was coming over and we were watching research films. Like, what the hell was the name of that shitty Elvis movie? Roustabout. And it was just like, man, it and you're watching and you're kind of like, yeah, I can see where this would be accurate, but then there would be moments where there would just be a solid 2 minutes of him singing while on a tiny merry-go-round, right? No, Ferris wheel. And it just was
Gino would fire Elvis's ass the first day.
Yeah. Yeah, Elvis was a terrible...
She might not be satisfied with firing him. She might have him killed.
Yeah, he might, let's just say that he might get eaten by someone or something.
He is the world's worst roustabout. I think he lifts a sawhorse. I think that's all he ever does.
Yeah, he was doing anything. He would do anything.
He's assaulting people. Hey, you want to play some darts?
Yeah, he gets up in people's faces. It's charming. He's Elvis.
And then he starts singing like in the middle of Midway. No business happening. Yeah.
It's all the things that ruin a musical. What was that?
She would get tired of his shit
real fast.
Quickly.
Yeah, given how we see how Gina does business in the comic, yeah, she has tolerance for certain levels of bullshit, but then there's certain flavors of bullshit where she's like, I don't have time. I don't have the time or energy for this shit. You're done.
No way. As in issue 1, you can get fired pretty easy.
Yeah.
You're out of line.
Yeah. We did have a pretty good comment a minute ago about monster nudity, whether I just thought it was really broadcast standards and practices and regular human nudity. I think we've already learned that is absolutely more acceptable, since Medusa in Clash of the Titans just had her tits out that whole battle. Harryhausen sculpted her with her them bubs out. So,
but she's a snake lady, so it's okay.
That's different. It's art. Actually, I think there was a fair amount of nudity in that movie now that I think about it.
Rated PG.
I am not sure I've ever even seen the whole thing.
Well, the original is a classic, but it is one of those movies where you've got to be in the mood for like kind of a meandery late a mid-70s fantasy film that's, based on the Greek myth, so it's very episodic. I'd say Jason and the Argonauts is the stronger contender, especially with that skeleton warrior sequence. But no, seriously, like go check on YouTube if you've never seen it. The Clash of Jason and the Argonauts skeletons, and you're watching like 9 dudes all fighting these stop motion animated skeletons, and the skeletons are like perfectly integrated into a sequence back before they had computers to do this. So
I need to see that. That's awesome. Wow.
It's astonishing.
mm-hmm. They had to
Wow.
choreograph their sequence, memorize all of every individual sword swing, and then do it all again so that Harryhausen and his team could animate them in time. It's blows my mind to this day.
Wow.
Anyway,
I was gonna say we should show the Sideshow edition cover since Paul mentioned that.
yes.
Yeah.
So, like he said, this is we're gonna have this edition, or try to for most of the issues. You'll have to look for it, but the Sideshow edition, not just the cover is different, the interiors are different. There will be some things in the interiors that are uncensored. I believe in issue 1, it's just nudity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's very small. It's one page of some very distant.
But it is a
figures.
different edition. It is technically different.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, and major shout out to Mark Dos Santos for his work on the cover here.
Amazing.
Just nailed it. Mark and I have been friends for a couple of years. We met at Dragon Con a few years ago, and I remember Morgan went and bought like a bunch of his work at his table, and he's like one of her favorite artists. And he and I got to talking at some point. He's a really big Godzilla fan. He's got a bunch of Godzilla art. I've been buying those Godzilla photo books for him for a while, and when we were talking about possible variant covers, Mark jumped to mind because he did these Saturday Evening Post style faux covers as prints, and he has this very retro style to his work. And while we were talking, going back and forth in the chat, Paul was the one who suggested that it was sort of the what books am I thinking of?
Sorry?
What are the books that I'm thinking of that you suggested as a style for Mark to emulate?
I was just reading comments here. Caston says I should speak slower. Paperbacks.
Yeah, well, they were these old school paperbacks from the 60s mostly, and I think some of them James Bond novels.
Some were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and so he got that style almost perfect, pretty much perfectly. And I just, and it's so fun seeing this character that I've spent so much time drawing and designed, seeing her interpreted by different artists. I remember the first piece of fan art I ever got was by an artist who goes by Kaiju Hime on Twitter. And she gave me a sketch of Gina at G-Fest, like in 2018, 2019 or something. And I'm like, it's my first piece of fan art. I'll have to find that and send it to y'all. So maybe we can put it up in the next, during the next live stream.
Yeah. I was going to answer this question real quick. The Sideshow edition will be a separate pledge level. We're going to have, oh man, we have so much stuff. We're going to have the regular edition. We're going to have the Sideshow edition. We're going to have a holo foil edition. And we're going to have also an EC Comics edition that will be, this is a secret that we haven't told anyone, but it'll be unlockable with a stretch goal. So we'll have, is that 4 covers? I can totally count. 4 total covers.
Have
for
we
you guys
shown
to
all
collect.
3 covers? All 3 of the currently available covers?
Well, that image has the EC, but you can show it. Like, I don't mind. You guys
This
can
one?
have. See, that's the EC cover, so that'll be a stretch goal.
Oh yeah, that was the first kind of attempt at a cover that I threw together, and I still really like it. I like it more now. I like it more now that I went through and I redid the colors a little bit, especially the shadows. When I was working on the Gamera stuff for Arrow, I really learned to appreciate just using a completely different color for shading. It really makes stuff pop. And I think it was one of those things that as an artist, I fundamentally knew, but because you're constantly behind the 8 ball, there's not a lot of room to experiment with stuff. You're just kind of falling back on your old habits over and over again. And so finally I cracked that code and I'm like, oh, it turns out if you use a contrasting color, it makes the other color stand out more. Who'd have thunk it? So, yeah. So after I did that little recolor, I really like how it came out. And also major shout out to Adam Milicevic for, hope I pronounced that name correctly, for doing the logo. The logo design, I got him to put that together like maybe a few years ago. And Adam is an artist who I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to work for Universal Studios as like a concept artist. And he was on that show that was on Sci-Fi, Face Off, where they do the makeup and creature effects and stuff. He was a contestant on that because he has a background in makeup and because he works for Universal Studios. Oh, awesome. So yeah, so Adam's really cool, and I was really happy that he threw that together for us. And I mean, that file is huge. It took us hours to try to compress the file enough so that we could open it on our computer. So yeah.
I was hoping you guys, and I want to test something here with Paul talking to and see if he still echoes. I was hoping you guys could talk about the process of doing the artwork for this comic, because it's the first time we've made a comic this way with the back and forth that you guys have. And I was hoping maybe you guys could talk about it, and Sarah could show some of the background art and the character art and whatever she has over there, and we could test Paul here too.
Well then, okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine. So, yeah, Paul, this is your background.
I think you're okay, Paul. I don't think you have an echo.
Yeah, I don't think you're echoing anymore.
Yeah, I think I fixed
it. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Hey!
It only took us an hour.
As long as Sarah is muted, you don't have an echo now. So, so she can't talk at the same time as you. Anyway, yes, talk all about it.
Sad. This is like I have to remember to unmute myself now.
I'm sorry.
No more spontaneous bullshit from me.
You just got to hit that cough switch like Bob Uecker doing announcements for baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay, so Paul came across this brilliant idea of handling backgrounds by building the lot and the environments in SketchUp, which is a 3D modeling program.
Yeah.
And that really solved a lot of our spatial awareness stuff, because God knows I don't have time for that crap. And
yeah, like the first couple pieces of I think the first 3 backgrounds I did weren't with SketchUp, and you can tell the difference if you really look at them. Thank God we didn't keep going that way. It would have been impossible.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, and that's I remember we originally very first image, and we're showing an uncensored bust.
Oh. Okay, that's a surprise one.
That one's one of the surprise ones.
Waka
Quick,
Waka.
switch the image.
That's one that was actually deleted, but that's cool. That's cool. Exclusive.
Wait, which one was deleted?
The second one she showed,
the
I
main
think.
entrance shot.
But I really like that shot though.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's so
But
cool.
no, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad we have a surprise for people. So there it is. Yeah, that's the main entrance.
Go back to it.
Okay, you can go back to it. We have permission.
Hey, it's out there now. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean
I flipped through it. I was like, I think I got all the ones he said not to use, but I was doing 1,000 different things.
It's fine.
It's really okay. It's gorgeous. It uses Adam's.
This was kind of the money shot for the end of trailer 1, which there were some issues, so we didn't get together in time. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember I originally kind of came up with a quick, tiny thumbnail for kind of how the front should look, and we went back and forth a little bit on that about like this Roman column facade and the big mouth and face, which is inspired by the old what was that one that old carnival, that one circus that had the big devil's face on it.
One of the things we looked at. What was that place called?
It was called
Dreamland.
Dante's Inferno or something, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, it was one of the rides at Dreamland, which if anyone out there has seen Tim Burton's Dumbo, there's like a fantasy version of the Dreamland Park, which was a real place. Which burned, which was an incredible amusement park near New York. And I think Coney Island, it's where Coney Island is the last surviving piece of it. I might have my history wrong there, but amazing looking place. And that was part of the inspiration for the main entrance.
I mean, I've been to carnivals with facades like this, those little roadside.
Yeah.
Or Texas, or at the rodeo or whatever, or even at certain theme parks, they still have stuff like this, and there is something so kitschy about it, but also just, I would absolutely go to this place in a heartbeat. It's so cool.
I was about to say that. I was like, I would go here. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Only 3 out of every 100 patrons gets eaten.
Yeah.
Like a key thing here in the design of the place is really obvious here, which is like everything has to look like it can be taken down in a matter of an hour or 2.
Right. It's got to be efficient.
So like when you really eyeball the main entrance, it's just a bunch of flats and it's a bunch of truck trailers,
And again, like we've learned so much about how circuses are constructed. It really is just a bunch of trucks that are just and everything is collapsible. It's all built to.
This was a really important aspect to the research. Was thinking out the mechanics of how this show operates, and basically in the 1960s. You're going to have a circus that either travels by rail or travels by, it's a motorized circus that's on the road. And that was the one it made more sense that it was a motorized circus.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
so we got a bunch of truckers in the story.
Yeah.
I had to learn so much about 1960s trucks and Peterbilts and Kenworths and Macs and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Paul bought like little models of specific trucks and stuff, and those came in real handy for all the backgrounds and all the designs and stuff like that. And it all had to be period specific as well.
No. It has to be, something that they would, and you got to keep in mind that Gina's show is not the wealthiest, so they're usually a bit old. We're looking at like a 1960 model truck tops, but it's usually more like 50s.
Right. Yeah, so if the people watching, like, if you're expecting like a comic book full of talking heads with like gradients as backgrounds, like that's not what you're gonna get with this. Like everything is super detailed.
No, that's the other book I'm
It's
working
not
on.
lazy. It's there's so much work going into this. I can't even describe like the back and forth between the backgrounds and the characters and getting everything lined up. Like I'm really excited for you guys to see.
A print in themselves, like that. This shit is all like I could hang this on my wall and it would look good.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is our first panel of issue 1, isn't it?
Yeah, panel 1. Yeah, which is, this is a case of where we're seeing a part of the world that isn't even, the show. This is just 1960s Oklahoma City on the side of Route 66. As I design these, I get carried away with like the backstory to stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have a whole backstory just for this lot, which has no relevance to the story or Gina or anything.
Well, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Of this locale.
Yeah, it's
poor,
like
pathetic Rogers Memorial Athletic Field. Which is Oklahoma. It's the 1960s. They're on Route 66. You would think it's named after Will Rogers. It isn't.
You would think.
It's a memorial to some other Rogers, even though it's on Will Rogers Memorial Highway.
That's
there's
so sad.
Something so goddamn sad about that. Like I can't even.
Yeah, and I also like if you read the sign in the background, like for what's at the venue that week. It's got, Miss Medusa's Monster Circus or whatever they put up. And then next week, it's like, fucking grade school kids flag football or something.
Yeah, there's all these little details that I would say 94.7% of the readers are not going to pick up on.
Yeah. There are so many, weird little things I put into the backgrounds, which you really got to look at full resolution. Like people when they read it digitally, if they zoom in, they might be able to find some of those Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like the sign in front of the big top. If you read the fine print, it warns you that Gina's not legally, she's not, you can't sue her if you go blind during the show.
She's removing all responsibility for.
Yeah, there's more than one sign on the lot that warns you about you can't sue if you're blinded.
Not responsible for blindness, burns, maiming, animal mauling, or temporal displacement, accidental death and reincarnation. There's a lot of shit that can happen to you here.
As we will see in Arc 1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Some customers might get into peril.
So I have the, we have mentioned, it's been mentioned several times that we are talking about 666 different monsters here.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have the size chart. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about the censored one? So if we can put that one up and we can have a little talk about that.
Which I should say something right up front about the 666 monsters thing. That's Gina's marketing. That's how she sells it. But as we see right in the first issue, she fires 2 people. And she's maybe in the process of hiring one. So she's not too concerned with actually keeping it at 666.
It's a loose estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what is the line from Kill Bill? There's not actually 88 of them. They just like that number.
Yeah, it just sounded cool.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. No warning for being liable for petrification. If you've been turned to sell, you're in a position to sue. I like that, Michael. That's very good.
You can't sue if you're stone.
It's those pesky relatives that sue.
Yeah, can you get slapped with a suit for like wrongful petrification? Like wrongful death, but wrongful petrification?
Not if you wipe out the family line.
Well, if they tell you to look away.
Something I have never addressed in the show, in the world building of this. There are two things I haven't really done work on. You there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's two things I haven't really done work on, and one is the winter quarters for the show. I haven't done a lot of thought on that. I know it's in New York State. That's about it. But that's like where their home office is. And the other thing I haven't really done a lot of thought about is who the fuck is Gina's lawyer.
Oh.
Oh man.
I assume she has some Saul Goodman motherfucker backing her up.
The question is, should it be like
a mythic or a human?
A mythic or a human? Should it just be some belief? Should it just be some Saul motherfucker who just is just like just a regular fucking guy? Or should we
I get the feeling it's just a guy.
Yeah.
And he's so stressed out.
As we'll see in issue 2, Gina does, even though she's, I'll say it, she's an outright bigot towards humans. But she does have at least one human business associate who we'll see in issue 2, and the guy is shady as fuck.
I was just thinking that our guy needs to be one half Lionel Hutz and the other half because if I'm thinking about Homer's accountant from the episode where the power plant in The Simpsons was sold to the Germans, and he's like, hey Homer, it's your accountant. It's like, I have an accountant. It's like what it is like, all employees were granted a certain amount of stock in exchange for certain civil liberties. And it just needs to be like, oh, we can't talk about business just yet. We need some small talk. There we go. Now we trust each other. It needs to be like those two characters somewhere in between the two.
Yes.
Yeah, and as we'll see in the series, the legal standing of mythics is complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And so to run a business, you are reliant on having some humans in your corner. And
yeah,
I don't want to say too much, but that will continue to be an issue as the series goes on.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Gina just being like, this fucking townie is on the line again, and then this guy is just like, this fucking snake-haired broad is on the line again. This fucking it'd be amazing if he didn't even address that. He just kept calling her that Greek broad.
That would be awesome.
Because it's not much of a spoiler to be clear that Gina Tatopoulos is not her name. Like it's her legal name, but like
like a condition of the mythics who immigrated to America is they had to take on legal, names.
Yeah.
That
like human
Ellis
names.
Island was a little more comfortable with. And so all of them have these like last names they've adopted, and some hardly use them.
Yeah. Sarah, do you want to show do we have some of the interiors to show too? Like the sequentials?
Yes, we have a couple of pages here.
Yeah. Oh, yay. Oh man, I'm getting like weird flashbacks.
Here we go.
Stuff that was up in elsewhere. God.
Yeah. I've got my Elsewhere volume here by my side. That one on the left, that's the first page from Elsewhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. for the Elsewhere preview.
Yeah, and that one
Which
really
is actually page 14.
Right.
Yeah, that one is the one that I think that was sort of our trial by fire about like how we're gonna do this book in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Because we wound up just by necessity copy pasting some stuff, but that adds to the comedy of it. Because that's one of the things that's I always find funny in comics when you're able to just repeat images, but it's part of the joke.
Right, and there's just like really
I
tiny
think
changes.
absolutely, a lot of humor works best. Like this is just coming from my film school background. A lot of it works best if you play it out in the master shot. You don't cut away. You don't go into close-ups. Just let an absurd thing happen in front of you.
Right.
What the fuck is that thing called? That deer thing?
It's a pair of something.
I think
Periton.
I'm pronouncing this right.
Periton. Yeah, periton.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that Paul dug up and was like, "Oh, we got to put this in the book." And it's
actually something I remembered from childhood because a point of reference that'll come up in this series over and over again, and it's so fucking cheeseball. When I was a little kid, I loved the Time Life Enchanted World books. Which was like the Time Life Old West books, but it's fantasy. Very, very cheesy, but I loved them. And one of the books mentions Peritons.
Yeah, and they're just such a strange creature, and I just love the and of course the absurdity of having a peacock deer with a human shadow that's applying for the job of, what was it, publicist?
Publicist.
Yeah. It's just,
and I assume he's enormously qualified for it.
Yes.
I think if we ever get popular enough, we can do a What If series.
Oh God, yes.
I want Uatu to show up and show us the world where the Periton got the job.
Yeah.
It just nothing went wrong. Everything played out the way it was intended to.
Yeah.
Thanos never committed genocide.
Yeah.
I
wanted to mention in response to Mike here, any fans of D&D and that kind of thing, I think will also really love this series. Nerds for creatures and just universes and
there's a lot of creature. I mean, it's Dungeons and Dragons, so there's inevitably like a lot of crossover with a lot of the monsters you see in that.
We'll need to get a Miss Medusa universe D&D rulebook.
Oh my God!
Expansion.
Absolutely.
It would make a bitchin' role playing game, especially with as we'll see in we're not going to touch on it much in Arc 1, but as we'll see, there are other mythic circuses out there.
Yeah.
Gina has competitors.
Very exciting.
You guys are getting all the secrets in this stream.
Yeah. Very exciting. Oh man. Oh my God.
Secrets. Lori, we have a couple of special rewards. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah.
Special rewards for the special backers.
Very special. Yeah. That I haven't announced them anywhere.
So special.
So the first one I want to mention is for the Kickstarter launch. So we're launching next Tuesday. We're streaming at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to launch the Kickstarter on the stream.
Scared me for a second there. I was like, wait, 5? What? Eastern time.
Eastern time. You're okay.
God damn these time zones, I tell you.
I always say Eastern time, even though I'm Mountain time.
Are always super, whenever they come and ask me about the time, I'm like, it's the exact same time because we're in the same time zone. But everybody else, it's like, I'm like, I think this time. I don't fucking know. Why do you
I don't
ask?
know.
Asking
Ask
me?
Siri for crying out loud. She'll tell you.
What time zone are you in again? I don't. Shit.
So the special stuff, if you back in the first 48 hours and you comment on the Kickstarter, sorry, I should say if you back at a shipped or physical tier in the first 2 days and you comment, leave a comment on the Kickstarter campaign, just whatever, any kind of funky stuff you want to write. We're going to be giving away a super special Miss Medusa sticker that Sarah designed that I'm hoping she can show us because I think she has it ready.
I'm so excited. It's so cute.
So that'll be like an exclusive sticker that you can only get by doing that. So you want to back and comment on the campaign. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to get like 12 of them just for me. I'm so excited. It's just, she sent it to me earlier and I was just like, oh my God. Like this is something Gina would do like now. Like she would have absolutely made these stickers. Sold them for $3 a pop.
These days would be a YouTuber with an Etsy store.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yep.
I'm just like so happy that you guys thought it was good because I told Paul, I was like, I'm not what you would call confident in my artistic abilities. So I'm just happy that the consistency of my work is becoming more regular. So like if it all has the same level of suck or good to it. So like this one came out really nice. I'm actually really happy with how this one came out.
Yeah, I mean it's
great.
I love her immediately, and I know Kaiji Hime is gonna love that too because that's like exactly her. That's exactly her speed. I'll have to make sure she knows about that. She's our #1 fan right now.
Oh man.
We need to do some UHS emotes for like Twitch and Discord and stuff, don't we? Like we need to do that.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And the second thing I wanted to talk about, so you can get that, you back in the first 48 hours, you comment on the campaign, back at a physical tier, sorry. If you make it to the live stream, the launch live stream next Tuesday, and you comment and interact with us on the live stream, I'm going to put your name into a drawing to get a piece of Paul's original art from the book. I don't have it on me because I'm not at home, but I have it at home. So we'll have to show that to you, but like rest assured it's amazing. So again, you back the campaign and you comment on the live stream and you'll be entered in a drawing to win a piece of his art. So hopefully we'll see you next week.
Do it. Yeah. Yay.
Yes, you better. I'm hoping that because we're doing the special time for the Kickstarter, that more people will be able to join us. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So and it won't be quite so late, so people won't have to skip out early. And I'm just hoping that everybody will be home from work in time.
Yeah.
that's the real concern, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. I'm just, like I've said a couple of times, I'm just super excited because it was one of those things where a project this size in scope and in complexity if it was just me trying to do this, I would still be trying to do it. I would still be kicking that can down the road. So I did just want to say thank you to Paul and Lori and Sarah and everybody else involved to get this thing, finally getting this thing out the door. And it's super exciting. This is the first time I had an original comic conceptualized and taken to fruition. Because, a lot of the stuff I've worked on has either been licensed stuff or it's been other people's projects. And even though Paul really is the driving creative force behind the majority of this book, I'm still one of the parents of this whole thing. So I'm really happy and really excited.
It started with you though, like the base concept was there. you know, the whole like the front office of the book. Gina, Maurice, Sharon were already there when I came on.
Yeah, Gina, Maurice, Sharon, the giant ants.
Yeah.
You and I kind of both came up with Belinda together.
Yeah.
Our horrible, horrible, super racist daughter. God, she is kind of she's a piece of work.
She is an awful woman.
Do we have art of her to show?
Yeah, we haven't put Belinda into like much merch yet for stickers and stuff, and there's a reason for that, because I want people to get to know her before they decide if they want to stick her, because she's awful.
Yeah, again, she is a piece of work.
There are people in this book who are just terrible.
They're just the worst.
Belinda's not even the worst.
No, absolutely not. Belinda is do we want to make the comparison to a particular celebrity, or do we not just want to leave that for
there might be other celebrities who were in the news in the last 4 years who said really horrible racist things and blamed it on pills.
Okay.
And that might reflect the Belinda situation, where Belinda is a
need me pills
in the big top. Yeah.
Like, I can just imagine the eulogy at Belinda's funeral essentially being the eulogy episode of BoJack Horseman, of him standing there for the solid 20-minute episode and just being like, my mother is a huge bitch. Sorry, that was bad. My mother was a huge bitch. Just like, Belinda is dead and now everything is worse. It's complicated characters we have.
Yeah, she's one of the many personalities that Gina has to manage.
Yeah, manage is one word. Ugh.
Anyway. Yeah, as we'll kind of see in the series, the performers in the Big Top show are just a very small part of the story. And honestly, I get more interested in like the people behind the scenes, you know. So it's the people that work with Gina in the office, and the roustabouts, and the folks who are in the sideshow who aren't so appreciated. They're the more interesting characters, and you know, a lot of the performers in the Big Top are just, you know, brats.
Once or twice, I've had to rein Paul in once or twice and be like, I don't know if we have time. Just very rarely, because so much of the stuff he wants to do is just absolute gold. But it's just like, every now and then you've got to take your film, you got to shake it so that like 12 minutes falls out of it. And it's like, man, what can we let go of here? What are we gonna, and that goes against like every instinct I have, because I want Paul to keep liking me as a person, so I don't like telling him no. And like, Paul, I just don't know if we could we really do we have time for this subplot? Well, we're doing it. 30 pages, okay.
Yeah, I remember, this is getting ahead of things.
Yeah,
there's one scene coming up in issue 4, and we really went back and forth on it, on the inclusion of one character who has a monologue that appears to have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It will pay off, though, I promise.
Right. That was how we justified it, by being like, oh, if it pays off, then yes. But this can't be... This can't just be a Tarantino-esque rant just shoved into the middle of a film in apropos of nothing, so you can work some shit out. Like,
yeah, no, it's very much it's going somewhere.
Yeah,
everything said has a purpose. It's not just what's the word?
And even then,
self-filating.
And even then, it's like, it's fine to have that stuff for flavor, but it's just you don't want to run the risk of grinding everything to a halt when you could be figuring out where this side plot's going. But yeah, I'm thinking about a particular set of characters where I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna read it and you're gonna be like, why did we stop for that? But then it's like,
there's a lot of stuff. Like hopefully it feels very breezy when you read the book. But there's a lot of, because like I know where we're going, like in issue 56, if we get there. So there's a lot of Chekhov's guns being distributed through this. It's Chekhov's gun show. There's a lot of things being set up that will pay off later, but hopefully not in a way that gets in the way of the immediate story.
I have to use that in my day-to-day life. Chekhov's gun show.
Page 4 of this book, where there's hardly any dialogue, but page 4, there are so many subplots getting set up there with those characters on the midway.
You guys have no idea. Everything here is so planned. It's really intricate. I'm so excited for you guys to read it. I knew
there was a lot happening, but I had no idea that we were talking 56 plus issues.
Paul's got a whole.
Sure, if things go as planned, 56 issues.
Paul's got a whole. He's got arcs planned. He's got it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
that's outstanding. I mean, I'm 150% for it. I just didn't know, so that was the first I heard.
That's why when I try to describe it, I can't describe the extent of Paul and his playing. It's amazing.
Hey now.
No, it's good. I'm saying it in a
No, it's all nothing but compliments.
We all love you, Paul. That's why we work well together.
Now, that's like I said, I love over preparers because I never have to ask for anything. It's already there.
It's all yeah. Sarah, did you want to wrap up then, since we're closing on
we're gonna actually make our hour and a half time, I think. Our 90 minutes. So
yay.
Next week we are doing hey, no, you have to go now. Bye. Let's make a mess and then there's a problem because y'all can't see it. It looks all tidy and stuff here, but I got a lot of shit on my desk and it's not organized. Okay, so next week we're having our regular Monday program, and then we get the bonus launch episode on Tuesday. So that's double fun, right? So next
double your pleasure.
That's the statement of the. Oh my God, that was from the 90s. Never mind.
No,
I'm not that old. God. No, I was thinking of the Doublemint Gum commercial.
Well, that is what it is.
That's the statement of the great mint Doublemint Gum.
Oh God.
I know. Old, right? Okay. So Tuesday is the special Medusa Kickstarter launch episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Monday, our regularly scheduled episode, is All Hail Testicles. And I don't know if anybody knows who Testicles is, but he's an internet cat. You can go look him up on Facebook. And we are going to talk up to Testicles' person, Samantha.
We're not just doing an interview with a cat, unfortunately.
I think you should.
You know what? We have Testicles is he's the what does she call it? The nudie kingdom. He's the lord of the nudie kingdom. And then there is another cat called Princess Vagina. See, I'm not making any of this shit up. This is her actual cat's names. And then she's got
both
this other
hairless cats.
They are both naked cats. And I mean the one, she has pictures, and I'm sure we'll see lots of pictures when we get that far. That one as a kitten he looks like a little hairless ball sack. I mean, so it's a very apt name.
Amazing.
He's adorable. I love him. And except for that one picture that made him famous, which we'll show next week. We'll talk about that next week. But anyway, we're talking to Samantha, his person, and we're going to talk about how Steve says it sounds like the next episode is going to be nuts. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, what was I saying?
Samantha.
We're gonna talk to Samantha about testicles and about Princess Vagina, and I want to know. There's some weird shit about Sphinx cats that doesn't apply to other cats, like regular cats with hair. So I'm curious about some of that stuff, but also we're going to talk about how Samantha kind of used Testicles' internet fame to push some social issues that she's actually managed to get some good traction on, which is a really awesome thing. So I wish that I have that stupid alien cat that was just up here. Like, he's just such an idiot, but he does not have that kind of fame, so I can't use that to push for the greater good. So so we got to talk to somebody who can. So that's what we're doing next week. And so next Monday, Testicles, and Tuesday, Medusa. I'm sorry, you guys are going to have to follow that act. So I hope you bring your big game.
Oh, I've got plans.
We're all going to be naked.
That sounded like a threat.
Damn it, Lori.
Even Paul, but we won't see anything. But he'll be naked. We'll just.
It's always a surprise. Yeah, it's always a surprise. Just like fucking.
Okay then.
No, what do you mean? I'm talking about. Man, I had a Godzilla I could pull out and just be like, because it's like anyway.
It's gonna be 2 hours of watching Matt recreate Serenity with his Godzilla toys.
Serenity's some that's Bush League shit. I'm gonna do whole Godzilla movies. I have all the characters.
But okay, can you recreate Hamlet with your Godzillas? Because I would watch that. I would watch
you can recreate anything with Godzilla figures. I'm just, just saying.
That's the question of the night, right?
How do we know?
Of the night.
I'm waiting for Paul to chime in about this.
Let me mute my mic. Let me mute.
Did you see the screen, Paul?
Oh, hey.
That's not what anyone. Anyway,
your silence is deafening.
Yeah, so Paul is definitely naked right now.
Yeah, definitely naked.
That's what that means.
I'm very excited. I also have to give a shout out to my assistant Caston for keeping me on track to get the Medusa stuff done, because God knows I would probably again. Once I finally figured out, like, oh yeah, I shouldn't triple book comic projects. So she came up with the schedule that I blew 3 times, and she finally we got it. We had a schedule that I finally got ahead of, sort of. So
we did it. There is a book.
There is a book. The book
exists. It's happening. Yes, it is definitely happening.
Thank you, Caston.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Without whom we may never have gotten a book, right?
Without whom I'd probably be dead. So
it's like forgetting to eat and forgetting to pay the bills and shit.
Food is, it happens. It just happens to me. I
wish food would happen to me. That never happens.
Anyway, yeah. Yay.
So, alrighty. Well, let's go, because we don't want to know if Paul's nudity is the terrifying inhuman monster kind of nudity.
Thank you, Michael.
He is a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
Yes. So isn't he always naked?
Paul Fanley, right?
I don't know. Maybe he throws a shirt on there or something. I don't know how it works. I'm so sorry, Paul.
I'm naked under my clothes.
Yeah, aren't we all?
All right. Okay.
Okay,
we are 90 minutes. God damn it.
All right.
We tried so hard, and now we're at 95 minutes.
And in the end, it didn't even matter. No, I will not apologize. Okay.
Thank you guys for coming to the stream.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Caston. Thank you to the owner of the mystery location that Lori's in. And thank you to the guy behind you. God damn it. I can't think of brains.
Jabba.
Yeah. Jabba the Hutt.
I can't think of brains.
The Star Wars dude behind you.
The Star Wars. Thank you, Star Wars.
to infinity and beyond.
Okay, and that's it.
Okay, I'm done now. I'm done now. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week.
Bye.